Good morning, students. Hope you all are fine and safe. We all are very eager to welcome the new year. So I am wishing that the new year brings new hopes and opportunities. Learn from your mistakes. Accomplish your goals for your future. From this new year, you break a bad habit, learn new skills, read more books. Advance Happy New Year. In the previous lesson, we had studied about health and diseases. Now we are going to learn environmental management. What do you mean by environment? Our surrounding. Environmental management is a systematic approach to finding practical ways for saving water, energy and materials. Our environment consists of renewable and non-renewable resources. Some resources such as forest, crop, wildlife, groundwater, wind and solar energy can be renewed simultaneously and they can maintain themselves by natural recycling process. Such resources are called renewable resources. Some non-renewable resources such as mineral ores, coal, petroleum cannot be recycled and can be exhausted by unlimited and continuous use. They cannot be replaced easily. This would lead to a situation where non-renewable resources may come to an end after a certain period of time. Therefore, conservation of natural resources makes important contributions to the social and economic development of the country. First, let's discuss an important renewable natural resource, forest. Forests are vital for human life. It is made up of trees, shrubs, grass, herbs, microbes and much more. The importance of forests cannot be underestimated. We depend on forests for our survival. They provide food, wood, fodder, fiber and medicine. Forests also offer to reduce global warming, increase rainfall, regulate climatic conditions, etc. They also play a vital role in maintaining the ecological balance. Nowadays, overuse and greed of man have led to disturb the forest area. It is called deforestation. What do you mean deforestation? Deforestation is the destruction of large area of forest. This happens for many reasons like intensive agriculture, urbanization, construction of dams, roads, buildings and industries, hydroelectric projects, forest fire, construction of mountain and forest roads. It is a threat to the economic, quality of life and future of the environment. India is losing about 1.5 million hectares of forest cover every year. So what are the effects of deforestation? Deforestation gives rise to ecological problems like flood, drought, soil erosion, loss of wildlife, extinction of species, imbalance of nutrient cycle, alternation of climatic conditions and desertification. Next one is conservation of forest. The important measures taken for conservation of forest are afforestation, social forestry program, forest conservation through laws and CHIPCO movement. Afforestation is the establishment of forest or stand of trees in an area where there was no previous tree cover. It includes planting and protecting the trees with multiple uses. Have you heard about the term Van Mahotsav? Van Mahotsav is an annual tree planting festival in India. It is celebrated every year in the month of July. It was started by K.M. Munshi in 1950 to create awareness in the mind of the people for the conservation of forest and planting new trees. Next one is Social Forestry Program. Social forestry is a scheme to enable the common people to raise plantations which would meet the growing demand for timber, firewood, fodder and thereby reduce pressure on traditional forest areas and to safeguard future of tribals. Next one is forest conservation through laws. Adopting some strict laws and policies to conserve and protect forest. They are National Forest Policy 1952 and 1988 and Forest Conservation Act 1980. The main aim of National Forest Policy is to ensuring environmental stability and maintenance of ecological balance. The aim of Forest Conservation Act 1980 is to protect the forest by controlling the rate of deforestation. Next one is Chipko movement. Chipko movement was a forest conservation movement in India. It began in 1973 in Uttarakhand that was aimed at protection and conservation of trees. The name of the movement Chipko comes from the word embrace. People protested by hugging trees together which were felled by a sports goods company. The protest of Chipko movement achieved a major victory in 1980 with a 15-year ban on cutting trees in the Himalayan forest. Next topic is wildlife and its conservation. Wildlife refers to the undomesticated animals living in their natural habitats. They are needed for maintaining biological diversity. It also helps in promoting economic activities that generates revenue through tourism. Conservation of forest and wildlife is interrelated with each other. Nowadays, wildlife animals becoming extinct. Some are threatened and some are in the verge of extinction due to overpopulation and shrinking of forest cover areas. If this condition goes within a short period of time, all the wildlife becomes endangered and extinct one. So, wildlife should be conserved. The main aim of wildlife conservation are to control and limit exploitation of species, to preserve the plants and animals from extinction, maintenance of threatened species and extinct species, preserve the endangered species, to study the ecological relationship of plants and animals in their natural habitat. Hunting and poaching should be prohibited. What will be poaching? Hunting the animals illegally is called poaching. Then establishment of natural parks, wildlife sanctuaries, protected areas and biosphere reserves. The Wildlife Protection Act was established in the year 1972 for conservation of wildlife. The provisions of the Act are prohibit killing and hunting of specified animals, constitute sanctuaries, national parks and closed areas for wildlife conservation, special schemes for preservation of endangered species, constitute central zoo authority and recognition of zoos, restrict, regulate or prohibit trade in wild animals and products obtained from them. Some organizations are also involved in conservation of wildlife. They are Indian Board for Wildlife (IBWL), World Wildlife Fund (WWF) for nature, World Conservation Union, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources (IUCN), Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, Bombay Natural History Society, Wildlife Preservation Society of India, that is in Dehradun. These are the some organizations. Our government has established some national park and biosphere reserves to protect the wildlife. For example, Jim Corbett National Park was the first to established in 1936 in Uttarakhand, India. There are 15 biosphere reserves in India. The Nilgiris is the biosphere reserve in Tamil Nadu. Some wildlife conservation initiatives in India. Project Tiger and Project Elephant has been launched in 1973 and 1992 respectively. Crocodile Conservation Project was launched in 1976. Sea Turtle Conservation Project was launched in 1999. Indian Rhino Vision 2020 is to conserve at least 3,000 greater one-horn rhinos in Assam, India by 2020. Because of these projects, many wildlife have saved and also increased their number at present. Next, let's discuss about soil erosion. The top layers of soil contain humus and mineral salts, which are vital for the growth of plants. Removal of upper layer of soil by wind and water are called soil erosion. Soil erosion causes significant loss of humus, nutrients, and decrease the fertility of the soil. Some agents causes the soil erosion. Such agents are wind, air current, flowing water, landslide, human activities, and overgrazing by cattle. Management of soil erosion. Retain vegetation cover so that soil is not exposed. Cattle grazing should be controlled. Crop rotation and soil management improve soil organic matter. Runoff water should be stored in the catchment. Reforestation, terracing, and counter ploughing can help to reduce the soil erosion. Wind speed can be controlled by planting trees in the form of shelter belt. If we follow the above management system, the soil becomes more fertile, which are very essential for the growth of plants. Now let's conclude this session. So far we discussed forest and its importance, deforestation and its effects, conservation of forest, wildlife and its conservation, soil erosion and its management. Thank you.